Hey everybody, it's Cynthia, and I am here today with a What Sold video to help you make more pop culture profits. If I realize that it might be a little bit confusing that we're also called Boris Basement, that's actually the name of our eBay store, and it's the name I had originally started our YouTube channel. But I thought that pop culture profits made more sense because it really is what we love to sell. It's what we love to collect. And it's where I feel like I can help you out the most. There's lots of people out there selling clothes and things that you can learn from. But for those of you who like the hard goods, as they're called, I'm here to help you. So I'm going to jump in today. These are all sales that we had over the last 7 days. They're not all of our sales. They are just some that I picked for various reasons that hopefully will give you some ideas on things to look for when you are out and about. One of the things I'm going to start with, excuse my cursor running in here. Hang on one second. Sorry, there we go. Okay, we're all set up. We're going to start with this fridge magnet lot of 62 states, cities, countries, souvenir, tourists, travel, and all. We did take a best offer on this, and I will never understand why sometimes eBay shows that and sometimes it doesn't. But we took a best offer of $27, just slightly under the 30 we were asking. And this is a huge lot of magnets. I'll show you some of them close up. Um, Now, let me click on this. If you ever find these magnets right here, this Indiana at the bottom, these state magnets sell really well on their own. If you have a bunch of these, because people collect them and try to put the whole country together, you can sell those for really good money, like $27 for 5 of them, more so than putting them in the lump. But I only had one in this grouping, so I threw it in there. And for all I know, the guy bought the entire lot because he wanted that one. It's possible, because when you're looking for that one state, you want it. So this was a big set of souvenir magnets that I got at a estate sale shop. So like, they run estate sales, but they also have a shop that was going out of business. Originally, she wanted like almost $1 or more a piece for the magnets, which again, if you're collecting them for yourself, $1 is super. But for resale, it's just not practical because unless it's a very special magnet, selling them one by one is insane, or unless that's all you do. So this was a big box of them. And again, the other issue with magnets, I didn't mean to get on a big magnet rant, is a lot of those vinyl ones are really greasy because they've been on the kitchen fridge, and you cannot clean them with soap and water. You will just basically wipe that ink right off the magnet. So you will destroy them. So I don't know if there's a way to clean them without destroying them. I've never found it, but yeah. So this was a mix of those rubber magnets and metal magnets, all kinds of things. Um, I bought them because I can't resist magnets. And when the store was going out of business, I'm like, giant box of magnets. So I bought them. I probably paid, I'm not even sure. I want to say in the neighborhood of $4 to $6 for the entire lot of them that we got because we lotted everything together. So the point of this is if you get a chance to buy a big lot of magnets for a little bit of money, go for it. They almost always sell. And really quickly, I put these up less than a week ago. These were up listed for less than a week. On the other hand, of less than a week, we have this. So this is a Roger Waters production crew shirt for a 2017 tour. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up is I bought a little bit ago a huge collection of tour shirts from a person who had actually was the printer of the big crew company, Upstaging, I think it was called. When we listed them right away, we had like sale after sale after sale after sale for good money, 30, 40, $50. These things were blowing out the door. And then they stopped, which is weird. They just stopped selling. And, um, and of course, I started to panic and thought, oh, what have I done? I've flooded the market, whatever. And then I was tempted to start lowering prices and all these things. But you know what? I just let it sit. And then today, this one sold. And another day, another one will sell. I don't have that many left. We sold out, I'd say 75% of everything we bought and not a sale. So we just have a handful left, but don't panic is the word on this one. If they sold before, they will sell again. Unless you have an item that is so specific, there are literally only two people in the world that would want it and they both already bought them. It will sell again. So again, I think we took an offer on this one for 25 or 27-ish for a t-shirt, even with free shipping. Very respectable. I should have set these all up for you. Okay, I should have saved this one for the end. This was the fantastic sale of the week. Well, fantastic find, really, not even about the sale. This is a Disney Pixar employee Motorama adventure. And what that is Pixar, every year, I don't know how long they've been doing this, they have this special car show on the Pixar lot. And so the only place you can get the shirt from that year is if you work for Pixar and are on the lot for that event. It is an invitation only event. It's for family and friends. So this is a very rare shirt. I figured it hit two things. It hits the Pixar collectors and it also sort of hits the car show collectors who maybe happen to be fans of, say, the movie Cars. It's a great combo. Um, I almost passed on this when I first found it because I didn't know what it went to. I thought maybe it was a short movie. Oh, I take it back. I was always going to buy it. It's Pixar, and it was something I'd never heard of from Pixar, so absolutely I bought it. I actually had it listed higher. I think I had it in the 60 range, but I was really wishing and just reaching for the stars on that one because there were no other ones like it up or having sold. We did take a best offer, I think in the $40 range, so maybe that 45 is correct, I'm not sure. But I'm glad to see it going to a good home with a Pixar fan. I say this and I will say it again. I will say it again from later on. Don't be afraid of things you don't recognize. If you know your market and you see something you've never seen before, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. In this case, again, I was thinking this was a short film or something, but the fact that it was Pixar and I'd never heard of it meant to me that this was rare. And of course, it turned out to be quite rare. I did a little research online at Motorama. I found Auto Week magazine, did a nice write-up on it, so I found out all about it, and there you go. This is a Playmobil covered wagon set. Um, what do I want to tell you about this? I wanted to tell you something. Hang on one second. Okay, I'm hoping that worked. I had to hit a pause button. I've never done that before with this, so hopefully I will not have just lost everything I already did. So anyway, here we are. Playmobil covered wagon. This is another set of Playmobil. I've been selling tons of Playmobil. Love selling Playmobil. Some of it goes for a lot more than others. Again, we took a best offer on this, but it was still in the 20-some dollar range. It did have free shipping. It was a little bit more to ship. No, I think we got it in under £1, so it still went first class. This was a cool set because I'd never seen the covered wagon before. I actually thought it would move a lot sooner than it did. Now, here's my Playmobil tip of the day. I spent a lot of time looking up the number that you see in the title of this post, the 3278. That is the title, that is the number of the set that most of this came from. But it is not a complete set. It's actually bits of other sets that sort of go along with it. It's just the majority. Now, most Playmobil sellers put those numbers up there so to help you find what you're looking for because there's so many Playmobil bits that if you're trying to complete a set, you're going to look for that number. I am aware now that some people are confused by the fact that that number doesn't always mean it's a complete set. Now, I personally would look at the picture, I would look at the description and see that it's not complete because I know what a complete set looks like. This one I do happen to say parts and accessories, but on some of them I don't, especially when they're pieces from a lot of different sets. But I always put a picture and I always put a pretty detailed listing of what you're getting. So though there shouldn't be any confusion over what you're getting, Um, be aware that especially on mobile, a lot of people really rely on just your title. They don't read the description. They rely on your title and your pictures to see what they're getting. And if you don't specify in the title that something is not complete, for example, a board game, complete versus not complete, as opposed to writing nothing at all. If you wrote nothing, I would assume people would assume it was complete. Um, then you risk getting a return for someone who didn't understand what they were buying. Even if you described it properly in the description, you cannot rely on the description. Anyway, got that through. Um, Playmobil, buy it, sell it. It's great stuff. It's super. And if you have kids, buy it for your kids. It is a great imaginary toy for creative play. Fantastic. Okay, this one I want to show you because it's weird. Not the product is weird, but the fact that we were selling it is weird. Um, we had a friend give us several baskets that he was cleaning out decluttering his home and asked if we wanted to sell them on eBay, and we said sure. And I had looked on eBay and they sold baskets like this sold, and I thought this is fantastic. This one was really cool because it was both wood and woven at the top. We had three of them in different sizes. We could not give these things away. We upped the price, lowered the price, changed the pictures. We've done everything we could and just couldn't get there until finally someone did, and we took a real offer, not at all what you're saying. I don't even want to say how much we took for them, but not the numbers that you're seeing. Now, why I'm telling you this is, as you know, our store is primarily pop culture, vintage stuff. This does not fall into what we normally sell. And it's not saying that I don't ever put things in our store that we don't. But I honestly believe I could be way off the mark here. But I honestly believe that eBay helps you out when you sell within your bailiwick and knocks you down when you don't. So when someone came along looking for a African wooden basket, all the other sellers who sell lots of home goods and lots of baskets and all that were presented by eBay. And I don't think were. I think we were very far down on the list to the very brave soul who went through, 5 pages of baskets or happened to say basket with lid and woven and wood and all the words we used. And I think that's the reason they didn't sell. Because they're beautiful and we were priced right. We were right in the market of what other people were selling. But it wasn't our market. So I don't know. I don't know if that's the reason these didn't sell right away. I mean, obviously one finally did. But I feel more and more that I need to stick with what we do, and that other items that are far out of our reach we're going to struggle. So that's my thought. I don't know. What do you think? Am I right, wrong about that? I don't know. You tell me what you think. So speaking of a little out of our reach, so this is a little bit outside of what we do, but not really far, in the fact that we do a lot of pop culture clothing, and I would call Stussy, I think is how you say it, to be part of that pop culture. It's a brand, especially here in California. I think I talked about it a week or so ago. It's a brand in California that's really known for like the skateboarding culture, um, and so it sort of has, it's not just Old Navy. And no insult to Old Navy, they make great clothes, but to me, it's a pop culture brand, if that makes sense. And maybe I'm stretching. I don't know. I actually picked this shirt up because of Katie. I've been watching a lot of her videos lately. She does men's clothing, like that's all she does, and she's fabulous at it. And she was talking about this brand, and right after she talked about this brand, I happened to find this shirt. Um, it wasn't the best design. I thought actually it was a pretty cool design. It's clubs and hearts. It's all the suits of cards. It was really great shape. Um, I would have liked it a little bit bigger, but it was medium, and it was a great price at the charity shop we found it at. Um, again, I think we took a best offer. I don't know why it's not showing. I think we took a best offer, but I definitely cleared more than 25 on it, or somewhere in the neighborhood of 25, maybe 30. Um, so look for that brand. Here's the tag. Let me show you. There's the tag. It's kind of crazy. There's a little side tag. Um, yeah, we actually should have had more pictures up for this. Something's weird that I swore we did. So anyway, doesn't matter. It's old. It's on its way. This is actually the second Stussy shirt that we sold this week. We sold a T-shirt, which was one of their collaborations with John. I want to say it was like Chaser or Chason or something. I don't remember exactly. Sorry, but it was a collaboration T-shirt, and that one also went in the neighborhood of $25–30. Great sale as well. So definitely look for Stussy. If you find it in good condition, go for it at a decent price. Go for it. This is one of my favorite items of the week. Again, not for the price. We didn't get that price for it. This is an Underworld Rise of the Lycans promotional promo beanie hat. I love it because it is an official movie promo item. I love movie promo items. Um, or it could be a video game. No, I think it's a movie. And we picked this up at that estate sale the of the guy who did like all movie. He was a movie collector. He was a collector just like us. His house looked like our house. And there were a couple of hats there, and this was one of them. It's a really nice hat too. It's just a beanie, but the embroidery on it was very nice, and I'm sure the person who's going to get it will be very excited with it. We did take a best offer. I want to say we went in the $20 range, but it's a beanie hat, and it shipped fast and free, like I don't know, probably $3 shipping because it's so small, and it just went into a poly mailer. Easy peasy easy. If I had 200 promotional movie beanie hats, I would be excited and I would list them and sell them. And yeah, because that's my thing. I have to say, I wish I could find more promo stuff, although I don't think it sells as well as it used to. When we started on eBay, that was one of the things we sold a lot of because I collected it. And so a lot of times I would buy additional and then sell some of my collection in order to afford buying more. The one thing I always wanted, oh my God, I forgot about this. I should go look for this on eBay. Back when the Mummy movies came out, I'm holding my hands like you could see it. It was a lucite pyramid with sand, so like a snow globe, but with sand for the Mummy. And it was so expensive on eBay. It was a promo item that was only sent, to people as a promo gift. I wanted that so bad. And I bet you if I found it now, it'd be cheap. I'm going to look for that when we're done because I always wanted that. So anyway, Underworld Rise to Lycan hat, movie promo items. I won't say they'll always sell, but you have a good shot of them selling because they are a limited, as opposed to a T-shirt or something made for Hot Topic. So like they might have made Underworld hats for Hot Topic, but this was a promo item. So yeah. Next up, this was kind of one of these. I wanted to buy something, so I did, and I wasn't sure it was going to sell, and it did. It again, not a lot of profit in this, so let's start right there. But in the last month, I have found tons of Thomas the Tank Engine, I think that should say actually, Thomas the Train Engine, it's not right. Thomas the Tank Engine toys, mostly track pieces and buildings, things like this, trains themselves. I found a lot of them at the same store, so I feel like someone did drop their whole collection off, and the person just kept putting it up bit by bit. So in addition to this one this week, we also sold a couple of train wooden track buildings. Those went in the neighborhood, I want to say, of $15 to $20 each. I'd say you made, because I only paid maybe $3 for each piece. So we probably made 5 to 7, possibly $10 profit on each of those. They were a little heavier to ship. Same with this. It wasn't heavy, but it was bulky. So with the shipping, we probably still only made maybe $5 profit on this, but I couldn't leave it behind. I couldn't find anything else at the store that day, and I hate leaving with nothing. And I bought this also for another kind of weird reason. When I opened it up in the store to see what was inside of it, there were the cars that you can see. And again, horrible pictures. Don't go by our photos here. I'm amazed this sold because again, the pictures are terrible. Um, we didn't use that as the front because this piece here, this decal is often missing on one, so we use that in the front. But also inside this box were several little Lego minifigures. And some Lego minifigures are worth a ton of money. These weren't, but they were still good ones. But I wanted to buy the minifigures and thought, well, she's going to at least charge me what she's going to charge me. She was only going to charge like $3 for this whole Thomas the Tank carrier, plus the cars inside, plus everything that was inside. So I just bought the whole thing. But then I got home and found out that tons of people were selling these. And they come with these sort of plasticky train cars. They're not the nice cars that you get with the old wooden Thomas. So we kind of lowballed it because there were a lot of them up. And but it's old, which, you know what? This video is getting really long. This goes back to what I was saying, though, about being in your wheelhouse, because other people were selling this. Lots of people were selling this. But we had quite a few Thomas listed, and it sort of fits more of our pop culture toy thing that we do. And I think that's why ours rose to the top, and we sold ours, even though there were other people with probably better deals. But maybe not. We kind of went in low. But anyway, that's my thought on that. Okay. This one was a real surprise. This is a program from the Royal Shakespeare Company in London. It's a 1985 production of As You Like It, and Alan Rickman actually was in the company at the time. I think I got a picture of him here. There he is. And he's so young there. I used to buy programs for play programs whenever I saw them. And I loved to find them because we used to flip them for really good money. I don't know what happened, but the bottom dropped out of the program biz or something or what. But they're not as easy to move as they used to be. So I picked this up for, I don't even know, maybe $1. I don't even know what it was again. It came in a bundle of things. I got it at a estate sale. It was a last minute find at a sale I'd already cleaned up at and went back to the last day and happened to find this. So I grabbed it and figured, again, it was more of a rescue than anything else. I didn't even know that Alan Rickman was in it till I got it home and then saw that and went, oh, look at that. Other people had this up for sale. It was not selling well. I think someone else had one up. But I think the difference might have been we were willing to ship ours internationally. So someone from China bought this and paid a pretty penny to ship it because shipping to China, even for something this light, is quite hefty these days. The international shipping has really, really gone up. So, yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't say I'd buy every program that you find, but if they're really cheap, take a chance. Take a chance and grab them. There are theater fans out there who do collect, particularly on their favorite actors, so go for it. A couple more things. This one, so again, this is like the most perfect storm of things we like to sell. It's TV related, it's a toy, it's a collectible, it's all those things. So this is the Simon and Simon. This is AJ's car. I'm a huge Simon and Simon fan. If you're a Simon and Simon fan, say so in the comments and tell me if you're an AJ girl or a Rick girl. I kind of go back and forth, but I think I lean toward Rick. But this is AJ's car. AJ had the cooler car from Simon and Simon. This is not of the period. This was a more recent release. Hot Wheels put out a line of TV and movie cars either in the late 90s or the early 2000s, which I know sounds old, but the TV show is from the late 80s, 90s. Oh, actually, take it back. It does say it's from 1985. I did not realize these were that old. I found this ages ago at no, it's an 85 Chevy Camaro. Okay, I'm stupid. Sorry. It's getting late here. So yes, I'm wrong. No, these cars were made more recently. I found it at Tuesday Morning of all places. So I don't know if you have those around you. They are kind of like an overstock store. And we don't usually find things there that we can resell because their prices are usually a little bit too high, or they're overstock items that there are millions of flooded the market already, so nobody wants them. Every so often, though, we will find something there. I don't go there too for retail arbitrage purposes, but I go there to buy things for myself, and sometimes I see things. This I actually bought for myself. I bought two of them. I think I had the last two left. I bought two of them, And you can see the card on this one's kind of bent up. I had one that was in better condition that I sold, which is always my intention. And I was keeping this one for myself, but I just got in a clean out mode and thought, you know what? I bet you maybe somebody else will want this card. There's lots of them listed, so I almost didn't list it again. Same story. The card's been up. I know collectors like to have the card perfect. So I just went in at a low price and just, to get it to a good home because it's just getting bent up in my stash of collectibles in the garage. So put it up for $10. It cost about $3 to ship it. I made a buck or two. I don't remember what I paid for it. I literally bought this years ago, but I enjoyed it for a while and now I'm passing it on to someone else. Next up is one of these. I swear I'm never going to do it, and then I do. Um, this is Art Memo 2. It's a game. It's really hard to photograph because the box is really long. See that? It's like a foot long. This is a fantastic game, though, if you are a teacher, you're into art. What it is reproductions of famous artwork, and it's basically memory, like you played when you were a kid. So it's an excellent game to play with young children to introduce them to the art world. This is Art Memo 2. There is an Art Memo 1. Both games sell very well. This one actually we took pretty much a low ball offer. 21 is pretty low on this because shipping, again, it's a game. It costs a little bit more to ship. They do generally sell in the 35 or more range, which is usually where we had it originally. If you find it sealed, because this one had the box was a little bit ruined, it wasn't great shape. It was all there though. But if you find it sealed, you can possibly get up to $50 if you hang out for it. I think art teachers, like I said, like to use them, or people who just are really into working with young children, with classical art work. Um, I just got in a mode where I was trying to move out a lot of the bulkier items that we had, and I swore to myself I was not going to buy any more games because unlike Nick Hills, who we adore in the UK, who seems to sell games by the truckload, we have a hard time moving games. And they're a pain to ship because they're large, and they're expensive to ship because they're large. And so for that reason alone, I need to stop. I had a Supernatural Clue game here that I've been sitting on forever, but it's worthless. What it's going to cost to ship, I can't afford to sell it at the price I'd have to. I have an old Hangman Vincent Price on the cover, which I thought was so cool, but again, I won't get enough for it to even cover the shipping. Um, so today, be proud of me, I actually saw Lord of the Rings Risk, and I thought, oh, that's, it's worth money. It is, kind of, but it's not worth enough to us, not to store it, to ship it, to deal with it, and I left it behind. So be proud of me. This one was a smaller game, but still. Okay, but anyway, Art Memo, keep an eye out for that one. There's another game called Masterpiece, another art game called Masterpiece. It's more like a clue. It's about a theft of artworks or something, but it also has famous artwork in it. That game sells really well if you can find that. If you find it sealed or in excellent condition, that game sells very well. And for the same reason, I think people want to use it with young children to get them interested in classic art. Okay, a couple more. This is a weird one I just wanted to show you for a weird reason. Hang on, now I'm remembering if I'm actually taping. I am. So I love Pirates of the Caribbean. And I want to pick up everything Pirates of the Caribbean I see. Games, toys, clothes, shirts, all of it. But in more recent memory, we've had a hard time moving the stuff. And I think it's because when the movie came out, there was so much stuff that it wasn't as special as it was when it was just the park. So we have, and maybe still have, a dozen Pirates of the Caribbean t-shirts. Sold a few. Some of them never sell. Some of them I finally redonated. I don't know what it is. I love pirates, but I can't sell the stuff. So these were boys' swim trunks. And I found them at the Goodwill, and they're everything I shouldn't buy. Look, they're Disney parks. But see, to me, that blue line tells me these were a mark out from Disney parks that, Disney got they were carrying these in the summer, and it's not summer anymore, so they just not marked them out of stock and donated them to charity. The art was so cool, but they were pirates. We don't buy kids. We tend to stay away from kids' clothes except for costumes. And swim trunks, I never buy like trunks or things that might not fit properly. All this. But these look like they were brand new. I think they were. I'm 99% sure they've never been worn. And they were Disney parks, and the art on it was so cool. And we put them up, and somebody wanted them and bought them for $16. And I hope they love them, and I hope the boy who wears them is as excited as I was to find them, because I think that art is hysterical. That's like the coolest pirate art I've ever seen. Now, after I bought these shorts, I found another Pirate of the Caribbean t-shirt that I wanted to buy so badly, but I left it behind. So I don't know. Maybe in the summer pirates will come back in. I don't know, but yeah. All right. Hang on a second. All right, we're gonna go to this one. So this one I want to show you. This is something I bought that I will probably never buy again, but I wanted to show it to you. So these are Yankee Candles before Yankee Candle was the way they are now. Um, the labels on these, if you're at all familiar with Yankee Candle, they're a very popular candle company. They have little stores and malls all over the place, and people collect Yankee Candle candles because they make them for a limited period of time and then they retire them or whatever. So this was a set of votives, and I didn't recognize the label on them, and I don't know if it was like a special set or what it was. I wasn't sure, so I put them up on auction. Um, and you can see they're not in fantastic condition. They're not horrible, but they're not, they're not pristine. Um, and I know they didn't sell for much, so you're gonna go, big deal, $5.99, and $5 shipping, so $10 basically we got for them. But right after they sold, someone wrote me and said, "Ah, I'm so crushed. I really, really wanted to bid on those, and I forgot about it and didn't do it." And she told me that these are very old labels. This is the original older labels of Yankee Candle. They're very hard to come by, and she collects them and really wanted to win these. Now, I too really wish that she had bid because we didn't get much of a bidding war. Again, they sold for $10. I'm glad they went to a good home. That's great, but it would have still been nice if they'd gotten to a little bidding war over them. So, even though we didn't sell them for a lot, if you see these old Yankee Candle labels, don't hesitate to buy them. I think you could do better, and I think I probably could have done better if I'd put them up near Christmas. It's not the time of year people burn a lot of candles, even though there's snowstorms and blizzards in parts of the country. These were holiday scents, and I probably would have been better with that. However, I love to buy Yankee Candles, but I cannot stand them because the smell combined with a bunch of them just wrecks my allergies. So I bought a box of probably about 20 votives, and I broke them up by types of scents, so like fall and holiday, and I think I had a bunch of black candles, and put them up in 3 or 4 different listings. I honestly thought we would move more than this one set because Yankee Candles are really popular, and I thought the other ones might go, but again, I think I'm bucking the calendar here by putting up holiday and particularly Halloween and fall scents in spring. The trouble is, I really don't want to hang on to these until fall and holiday roll around because number one, I am concerned about them melting in our garage in the summer here in California. And number two, I just like, they have to be segregated because the scent will get on everything they're near. Like even in a closed box, I could smell them in the garage. It was crazy. Um, so although buying Yankee Candles is usually a good buy, a good buying decision, um, not if you have allergies, and probably not if you live in California where you have to store them, if you have to store them in the garage. But don't avoid Yankee Candles. If you find them in bulk for a cheap price, look them up or just buy them if they're cheap enough. Two last little things I want to show you. This was a real surprise. This was, again, I was at that same toy store same charity shop where I bought the Thomas the Tank Engine. This was another day. They didn't have much, and I happened to just spot this Barbie clothes. I do fairly well with doll clothes in general, and this was a brand new pack. It had never been opened. I wasn't sure if it had much value because it was newer, obviously, 2002, which isn't, I guess, not that new. Um, but I took a chance and thought, it's pretty cool. And I don't know, they didn't want that much for it. And I grabbed it. I had no idea when I got home that it was fairly rare and people were asking exorbitant amounts of money for this. Like I was on the cheap end. I'm not kidding. I saw people listing this thing for like 50 bucks or something crazy like that. So I think we did take an offer, but we still sold it for quite a good profit. I had never heard of this Shelly and Tommy. It's their little Barbie. I think it's like Kelly's little friends or something. Um, or it might be that Shelly and Tommy like were from another country, like they're the Kelly of another country. I don't know what, but apparently these were hard to come by, very limited in some way because they're extremely popular online. These Shelly Club clothing. So if you see these, I don't know about open. I imagine it'd be probably not as great, but still good. Although I don't know how you would know they were Shelly clothes if they were not sealed. But Barbie clothes in general, I buy them. You see them, buy them. And speaking of clothes, I think this is the last one I'm going to show you. So this one I'm going to show you for the very reason of its counterintuitive selling. If you have watched some of my other videos, you may have seen me talk about this doll and this dress. The short version is I was at an estate sale. I had found nothing. I was about to leave, and I saw on the mantle near where I had all this hubbub of people that were looking at jewelry was a beautiful, what I thought was porcelain doll and a set of dresses. She was about the size of like an American Girl doll. Extremely well made, very vintagey looking dresses. There were 3 dresses, and the doll was dressed in a dress. She was dressed in this dress. I did not want the porcelain doll. So I asked the girl if she would sell me just the dresses. And the price she quoted me, I realized, was more than it would have cost if I had just paid her original price for the doll and the dresses because it was half price day. And she was like, I'm not going to give you the half price if you only buy the dresses. You don't take the doll. Because she said I can't sell the doll without the dresses, which, you know, interesting point. So I realized the doll was plastic, not porcelain, which I felt better about because I didn't want to break her. So it was cheaper to buy the doll and the dresses, so I just said, fine, I'll just take it all. When I got home, I found out that the doll is practically worthless. It's Daisy, so it's Daisy Kingdom, which if you sew at all, you might know Daisy Kingdom's been around for a while. The brand that makes patterns and fabric and stuff like that. And the dolls, I guess, were sold at like Michael's craft store, and they were just cheap dolls designed to put your own dresses on. It's basically just stands for, dresses you were making. Um, Gorgeous looking, beautiful looking, but they were just plastic. But you couldn't tell from far. They really did look like porcelain dolls. But she was worth very little, and because she was big, the cost it was going to cost to ship her, again, was going to make it kind of crazy. So for a long time, I had the 3 dresses up, and then I had the doll dressed in this dress with the doll shoes as another item. All of the single dresses sold right away. Boom, boom, boom. No one wanted the doll. And so I finally thought, this is dumb because this dress is really cute. And I could probably get as much just for the dress. And the shipping would be like nothing. We'll throw it in a poly bag. It's it'll be $3 shipping as opposed to probably close to 13 because it would have been well over pounds in the doll. So I undressed the doll and we donated the doll to charity, and I put up just the dress and the shoes, and it sold within days for $20. Free shipping, but again, still. So the moral of that story is don't be afraid to break things up. This is a big thing with games. This is a big thing with people say with sets of glasses, if you've got an uneven number, whatever it is, if it doesn't, if it's not a better deal, if it's a better deal to sell half of what you got, I guess that's really what I'm trying to say. Bear with me. It's late. I'm going to say this last. I'm going to get it right this time. What I'm saying is, if you pay $5 for an item that has 2 parts, and you can sell one part alone for more than what people would pay for the combined, Just sell the item and don't be afraid to just get rid of the other part. If it's worthless, throw it out or redonate it if it can be used. But don't feel like you have to sell that whole thing and deal with the shipping and deal with, whatever goes along with the problems of the whole entire item. And I said, I know a lot of people do this with games. I'm dealing with this right now with, well, I did it with this Supernatural game. I couldn't move the game, but the pieces are so cool. So I thought, well, I'm going to sell the pieces alone and see, because I think somebody would want the pieces. They're really neat if you're a crafter and a Supernatural fan. Um, and they're a whole lot less to ship than trying to ship this giant game. So that was the moral of this one. I took the dress off the doll. The dress sells better than the doll. And if you have a big doll collection, you may find that's the same thing. Like, perfect example. You know how the Barbies and the Disney dolls you're always finding in the stores? The costume and the clothing on them is probably worth more than the dolls themselves, because the dolls are usually really kind of ratted up. Their hair's a mess. They got marks on them. But if you can get them cheap, take the costumes off when you get home, redonate the dolls, and just sell the costumes, the clothing alone, the doll clothing alone, and you'll probably do much better. Someone really loved to buy a set of Disney princess dresses for a doll they already own than buy another doll that they don't want because they don't want to throw it away, even though it's or it's in bad shape. It's going to make your picture look bad. Anyway, on that note, I should probably wrap this up because literally my voice is fading. I did find some really cool things today at the store. I found a toy, a Tim Burton toy from a show that no one remembers, a TV show that Tim Burton made. See if you know what that is. If you know that one, put that in the comments below. I don't have a prize, but I'll give you like a thumbs up. Maybe I'll have a prize at another point. But if you know that Tim Burton obscure TV show that I found a plush toy from, and a couple other items that hopefully I will show you later this week. I need to have daylight for that. It's midnight and I can do these in the dark. Which reminds me of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Okay, that's it. I am wrapping up. I hope that you go out this week and find all kinds of goodies to make your own pop culture profits. And I would love to hear about them. Link me to your videos or your blog posts, or just tell me about it in the comments so I can enjoy the goodies that you bought. And as always, I could say if you're interested in anything, if you're interested in things like the things I just showed today, click the link and visit our eBay store and make us an offer. We love it when people make us an offer. You have a great night. I'll see you hopefully next week.